Hello, it's Clive Jefferson reporting from the European Parliament in Brussels. I'm with our chairman and our member of the European Parliament for the North West, Nick Griffin. Nick, UKIP, bit of an issue at the moment. They've done reasonably well. What's your views on them in general for a start?
Well, let's be fair. They and the BBC and the Murdoch media and the rest of the press have done phenomenally well. It's an amazing thing. They haven't really, the turnout didn't go up particularly. They haven't yet energised, the people who've given up on voting in council elections. But out of those who do, they took 25% of the vote. Something quite remarkable, apart from the fact that 3 years ago, we took 14% of the vote everywhere we stood, with everybody against us.
14.8, I think.
14, nearly 15% of the vote the British National Party took. Since then, they've tried to destroy us. They came pretty close. They haven't succeeded. And they've been building UKIP up. And so everyone against us, we got nearly 15%. Everybody for them, and I mean everybody, even the Labour Party until very, very recently, too late to change this election, and they got 25%. So it's a remarkable thing, but to an extent, it's part of the same process. It wasn't a vote to get out of Europe. An opinion poll suggests that about 7% of UKIP's voters regard that as the important thing. It's a protest vote against the political elite who've wrecked our country, destroyed our country, given our country away, and all they do is sneer at us and tax us as they do it. So that's what it was, and at present, UKIP are doing it. Quite remarkable, but they're not going to be there forever.
So more of a vote against the other parties as opposed to for UKIP?
Oh yeah, absolutely so.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't win anywhere in Cumbria out of 84 seats. I don't think they won any in Lancashire.
No, they're mainly a southern phenomenon. I think that Farage is a very slick politician, very experienced, very slick, very, very slippery. I think his, I'm a Thatcherite, we're the only real Thatcherites. I think that was a catastrophic error from basically anywhere north of Watford.
Yes.
Really and truly. That's something which is going to come home against them in the months, or if they're still there, in the years to come. It's something that happened so close to the election. We haven't really yet had time to work it into our material and to get into our people's heads. But again, knocking on the doors in Maryport, I came across several entirely ordinary, as in ordinary, decent people, not heavily interested in politics, but saying, Farage, he's basically a Tory, he's a Thatcherite. There's nothing there for us. That's going to sink in.
And that was reflected on the vote in our target ward, Maryport South.
Yeah. Where we were more credible than them.
Yeah.
People preferred to vote for us.
Yeah.
And it's partly that. It's a party of the bankers, it's a party of the rich, it's not a party for ordinary people, it's certainly not a party for really anyone out of South East England.
No. I think, more on that as it comes in, but like you say...
Well, just one thing on that before we finish, that some of our people, obviously, you can understand people being a bit depressed by it. We put so much work into establishing our position as the alternative, and then with the help of all the mass media, they come in and they take it. But I don't believe for that long. Within 24 hours of that phenomenal result, Farage was talking to The Guardian saying, we're going to backpedal on immigration and we're going to have a softer immigration policy. And UKIP's immigration policy already was for balanced migration. So for every Brit who leaves, because they can't stand the taxes and the weather and feel like a foreigner in their own country anymore, for every Brit who leaves, they're happy to have another immigrant in, plus 50,000 a year, providing they've got permits to take our jobs. So UKIP's immigration policy, hard immigration policy, was actually, in that election, although no one knew it voting for them, was to have 300,000 third worlders a year, because the only people they definitely shut out would be white Christian East Europeans. Now, we wouldn't have them either because the country's full, there's not enough jobs. But if we had to have anyone, I'll tell you this quite bluntly, I'd far rather have Poles next to me than Pakistanis. It's as simple as that. And UKIP's drive would be for 300,000 cheap labour, third world immigrants coming into Britain every single year. And now Farage said that's too tough, got to soften it. That's not a message which is going to ring true and have an effect long term, if UKIP has a long term. Because again, Farage, since that result, has time and time again said if the Tories only get rid of Cameron, he'll join the Tory party. That would mean that UKIP would effectively be disbanded. A lot of its rank and file wouldn't like it, but it will be gone, it'll be out of the way. And I think long term, historically, providing our people hold their nerve, and actually morale's very good, considering the battle room we've been through, as you know.
Yeah.
If our people simply hold their nerve and we build on what we've learnt, especially at Maryport, and we develop our system, develop the party, we'll still be here when UKIP could literally implode overnight and not be there. And historically, their role will have been to break the voter loyalties of the remaining block of the electorate who does vote. They've made a huge change there. Once someone has stopped voting Labour, once stopped voting Tory, once stopped voting Lib Dem, they can make the change again.
Yeah.
It's easier. And that long term, there'll be a footnote to the rise of the British National Party. You mark my words.
Thank you. And what I will say again on that one is that wherever we take them on, we beat them. Wherever a candidate, a good candidate, puts a good campaign in, they're nowhere near us.
Yeah.
So take them on and beat them, you know.
We'll be here when they've gone.
Great. Thank you.